I don't
Hi
want
guys, and welcome to Modding Fallout 3 Part 2. Now in this video I am going to assume you have followed all the steps in Part 1 and that you have Nexus Mod Manager and the Fallout 3 script extender installed and working, and I am going to assume that you have Fallout Wanderers Edition and Mart's Mutant mod installed. If you've not, you should probably check those videos out, or at least I'm expecting you to know exactly what I'm talking about if I reference anything from that video. Now, although there are many things we're going to mod in this series, what we're going to focus on in this video is the user interface. And the reason we're going to do that is because I hate the vanilla game's user interface. I really do. And even though there are plenty of must-have mods, the user interface mods are basically something I have to have pretty much straight away. The main problem with the user interface for Fallout 3 is everything is too large. Everything is way too large and in your face. So I'm going to show you a mod that is going to reduce the size of it and make it a little bit more subtle, a little less in your face. But some other problems with the user interface, especially the heads-up display, are that the information is always visible when it doesn't need to be. I don't need my health bar when I'm not in combat. I don't necessarily always want my compass. I don't need my crosshair if I'm not shooting at something, etc, etc. So I'm going to install a mod that fixes that. And also the layout of the heads-up display. I really don't like where they put everything, so I'm going to show you another mod that actually fixes that too. So we're going to start off with a mod called the Darnified User Interface, or Darn's UI for short. Now, the vanilla user interface, as I mentioned, is too large in my opinion. Whenever you're looking at your inventory, you see too few items because everything is very large. And this is also true on the heads-up display. Everything is massive. It looks like it was designed to be seen on a TV at the end of the living room somewhere, not on a PC monitor half a meter in front of your face. So we're going to fix that with the Darnified user interface. Now, if you go along to the Darnified User Interfaces page on the Bethsoft forums, there are very detailed instructions on how to install this mod manually, but they have also included a faux mod installation, which is a lot easier, and I'm going to recommend you do that. One of the major things with the Darnified user interface is it replaces the fonts with its own, and so you have to do a lot of editing of ini files if you want to get this mod working correctly, whereas if you use the faux mod installer, you don't. It does everything for you. So we're going to download the faux mod version, as it says recommended, so I am going to basically save that to my desktop for now. And you're also going to need the hotfix. Right? This is important. You are going to need the hotfix. As it says here, the hotfix is a patch, and you're going to need the Alpha 11 version installed first. So we've now downloaded the main file and the hotfix. Now, if you actually look inside the main file, it's a zip file. It comes with a faux mod. Believe it or not, you don't actually have to do that. Nexus Mod Manager is fairly clever in this way. You can start up Nexus Mod Manager, go to Fallout 3, and you can make a mod package directly from the zip, and it will sort everything out for you. So go along to the Mods tab, do the Add Mod from File, select the DUI_F3A11.zip, and it will create that. Now, I don't like the name. I don't like the name at all. But I'm going to leave that at the moment. I'm also going to add mod. I'm going to add the hotfix. And I definitely don't like the name of this. So I'm going to change that by clicking this icon. And I'm going to change this to Darnified UI Alpha 11 hotfix. So as you can see, this is a little bit more descriptive. Now this one I'll leave. Downified UI F3 Alpha. However, as you can see, it's got the fact that it is version 11 there, 0.11. However, if you want to add the alpha version in the title, you can if you want, but you don't have to. You've now got the two packages you're going to need, the main file and the hotfix. Now to activate the Downified user interface, you simply select it and hit the activate selected mod, and it does the rest itself. Now it asks you if you wish to modify the fonts, the Fallout INI. Click yes, you need this. And then click yes to all for this. And then activate the hotfix. It will then warn you you are overwriting some things from the original mod you just installed. Yes to all again. And that's it. You now have the Downified user interface installed. And as soon as you load your game up, it's immediately obvious how much difference there is. The hit points and action points are so much smaller, very subtle off down in the corners, and you can also see there's a lot of extra information. You've got the date, you've got the time, you've even got things like your karma, experience, radiation, encumbrance, etc. There's a lot of things. You'll even notice hunger, thirst and sleep. Those are things that were added by the Fallout Wanderers Edition mod that I showed you in the last video. If I go to the Pip-Boy, you can immediately see everything is so much smaller. The fonts are so much smaller. If you go to your items, you can see so many more items at one time because everything is smaller, which is very useful indeed. And you get a lot better information this way. If I press the escape key to get back to the menu, you can also see this DUI F3 option. And if I click here, basically I can start changing things, like I can have a 12-hour clock, I can change the date format, I can have a meter for karma, as you can see up here, a meter. I can turn, say, the experience off if I don't want experience. Maybe I don't want the karma on. Radiation. It's nice to see radiation, so I like to see radiation. The short date format. Yeah, I like the time as well. It's nice to see the time. X panels. What are those? Ah, right. You can turn off everything. This entire thing that he calls an X panel, you can turn off. But I mean, I think it's very useful information. These things here, you've got encumbrance, critical chance, damage resistance, and so on. You can read all of these, and they're very useful things to be able to see. Some of them less useful than others. So, for example, poison resistance, fire resistance, etc. For me, not quite as useful as the others. Radiation resistance, very useful. Damage resistance, again, it's nice to see when your armor is damaged. Crit chance, I would argue not as useful. Encumbrance, very useful. Display mode, I can add meters as well as the percentages. I can just have the meters or just the percentages. It's really up to you, whichever you prefer. So I'll leave it like that. And as you can see, I've got a lot more information now on my heads-up display, a lot more information, and yet the heads-up display takes up less room and is less in your face. This is a lot more immersive experience for me. But we're not quite finished yet. If you remember in the last video, when we installed Fallout 3 Wanderers Edition, there was one file I mentioned that we would probably be coming back to, and that was the optional file, Darn UI support for FWE 602. Download with Manager. What this basically does is it adds the grenade hotkey icons and the night vision icons, and I think the stealth indicator as well. Basically, the Fallout Wanderers Edition gives you grenade hotkey, and it will actually show you an icon of which grenade you've got set to throw on your hotkey if you have the Downified UI installed. So that's basically what we're installing now. And you simply, again, it's very easy, download with Manager and then activate. It will give you this little message, select no. It's basically it's saying, would you like to upgrade? No. but when it asks you, would you like to overwrite, click yes. And now when I load the game up, if you notice down in the bottom right hand corner next to my action points, there is a grenade indicator. It indicates that I have got 10 frag grenades, and the frag grenade is my currently selected grenade. And you can see that if I press the grenade toggle key, it switches between the different grenades. There's my Molotov cocktail, frag grenade, pulse grenade. And depending on the grenade, depends on the icon. Very, very useful indeed. And there are icons for night vision and for the stealth indicator. So that is very, very useful to install. Now the next mod we're going to install is the adjustable HUD, and that's a mod by myself. And the reason I made this is I really don't like the default position of the standard heads-up display elements. For example, I do not like the compass down in the bottom left. I just don't like it there. I prefer mine to be center of the screen up towards the top. And that's what this mod basically lets you do. So go along to the file section for that mod and hit download with manager. Now this is a fairly small mod, so it should only take a few seconds, and then you've got it. Select the mod, click Activates, and you'll get this installation screen. Now it's detected that I've installed the Darnified UI. If for some reason you've decided to ignore my advice and you have not installed Darnified UI, it will detect the vanilla or the MTUI mod. Both of them are the same, so don't worry about that. But you then click install, and you must click yes to all here. You must click yes to all. Okay, and that is actually now installed. Go to the plugins. You'll notice that AHUD is a master file and is below the Marts and the the Fallout 3 Wanderers Edition. I would actually generally recommend moving that. Well, it actually really doesn't matter, but I'm going to move it to just above there, just for neatness sake. The Darnified ESP, by the way, that can go pretty much anywhere you like, I think. I've never noticed any problem with wherever that goes. But that's it, it's installed. So, when you get in game, you won't actually see any difference. However, if you press the F6 key, you get the AHUD main menu. Now you can reset the key using the top option, but if you just want to move things around, click, say for example, adjust compass, and then move compass, and then you can use the arrow keys that are on the number pad to move them wherever you like. You can also use the arrow keys that are the standard arrow keys, but you'll notice that you move whilst that happens. So if you use the arrow keys on the number pad, it's probably a little better. I left the arrow keys doing this for people who do not have a number pad for some reason. Now, if you change your mind or you want to go back to the default position, if you press the 5 button on the number pad or the R key, R for reset, if you don't have the number pad. Any other key that you press will go back to the menu. Now it's not exactly the fastest thing, but it works. It'll take you a few minutes to set your heads-up display exactly as you want it. The major weakness with this mod is it remembers the settings inside your save game. So if you start a new game, you have to do this over again. I'm sorry about that, but that's how it had to be. So let's say I decided I want it there. I press any other key. I'm now back at the menus. I could also hide the compass bracket. So let's do that. Let's hide the compass bracket. Go back and done. And you'll notice now that my compass is at the top of my screen and has no bracket, which I think is a lot neater. And of course you could do the same with all of the other things like hit points, action points, weapon condition, etc. And so this is how I like my heads-up display, as you can see. But you can set it up how you like. You can have everything all in one corner. You can have things wherever you like. You cannot change the icon for the grenade that is in Fallout Wanderers Edition or the Darnified user interface options. I'm afraid this mod does not allow you to move those. However, if they are bothering you, the next mod is going to probably make you a little happier. The next mod is actually called Immersive HUD, or iHUD for short, and again this is a mod by myself, and basically this mod aims to hide all the heads-up display elements until you need them. The motto for this is HUD when you need, hide when you don't. It is completely compatible with Dynamite and the adjustable HUD, and is fairly easy to install. Again, it's download with Manager. It will start up Nexus Mod Manager, download, and then you activate it with the activate key as usual. Now, the immersive HUD actually gives the same sort of control to HUD elements from other mods. So for example, the Dynamite elements, the Fallout Wanderers Edition elements, but you must install the immersive HUD after them. You must install it. So if you install a mod that is controlled by the immersive HUD, after immersive HUD, what you're going to need to do is uninstall immersive HUD and then reinstall it. Don't worry, that's actually very, very easy, and I am going to cover that because we are going to do just that in a later video. But for now, activate. Again, it's detected Dynamite user interface, but it's also detected the adjustable HUD. This is what it should tell you. Forgive the picture. I realize that's a New Vegas picture, but it's the same installer. It's a good picture anyway. And now you must click yes to all. It's telling you this time I'm overwriting files from the Fallout Wanderers Edition. This is correct. Don't worry about it. Yes to all. And it's installed. And that's it. If you check the plugins, there is now an iHUD.esm. I'm going to move that right below the aHUD. Again, it doesn't really matter, but just for neatness sake. Now, once you start your game, you will get a couple of messages, the sort of telling you where you are and maybe your latest quest, but once they fade, your heads-up display will be completely empty, as you can see, which I think is a lot more cinematic. But, of course, you are going to want your heads-up display at times. So if you press the I key, there's the heads-up display appearing. Press it again, and it disappears. So that's the first thing. But it's actually even more involved than that. If you take out a weapon, you'll notice that my heads-up display has added the crosshair again. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. It's not that obvious because I'm using Dynamite, which is a small crosshair. But there you go. And all of these things, after a few seconds, that will disappear, by the way. 6 seconds. And all of these things can actually be controlled. If you press the I key and keep your finger on it, you get this menu. Now you can change the key you press to whatever you want. It'll even detect mouse button presses. And it will also allow you to set up, for example, let's start with fade on toggle disabled. I'm going to put fade on toggle enabled. Now, if I press the I key now, my heads-up display comes on, but I'm not going to press it again. I've got my hands away from the keyboard, and after 6 seconds, the heads-up display disappears, as you can see. So that fades on toggle. Again, I'll bring up the menu, pressing the I key, but now I'm going to disable that because I like to have control. Activation options. Let's say I want the sneak meter is controlled by iHUD. That means you can only ever see the sneak meter when iHUD is toggled on. Ammo, condition and ammo options. Let's have this one to, as you can see, always on 0, combat, 0, etc. Well, I want it on combat, and I think I want it when the weapon is out, actually. I think so, yes, weapon is out. So we'll do that. So let's go back. And now I'm going to toggle off. Now I'm going to pull the weapon out again. And this time you can see I've got the condition and ammo count plus my crosshair. You'll also notice the Fallout Wanderers Edition, the grenade icon has appeared as well. So And you can do this for just about every one of the standard heads-up display elements and any of the supported ones. So for example, let's say the compass. I'm going to have this, you can toggle it so it's always on if you want it always on. But I'm going to say when I activate on the right mouse button. That's the mouse button you normally zoom with. So I will toggle the heads-up display off, and now I will press the right button, and now you can see my compass has appeared, as has my crosshair, because that's set for it as well. I release the button, and both of these elements will disappear after a few seconds. Anything that's automatically turned on also automatically turns off. And again, you can set those options too. Just press for the menu. Fadeaway options, for example, on the crosshair. Currently it fades in 6 seconds. I'm going to reduce it so that it fades in 2 seconds. Target info. Now this is actually I will show you that one. So the target info is what appears when you get close to something that you can talk to or activate. And you see it comes on automatically when I go near this Brotherhood Paladin, and it disappears after a few seconds. Terminal, if I just stay looking at the terminal, after a few seconds it disappears. There you go. So that's that one. Press for the menu again. And so on. Basically you can change all of these fade options as you like. There is also configure iHUD compatible mods. Now in this case it's detected Darnified UI. That includes the Fallout Wanderers Edition grenade icon. Excuse me, I couldn't remember what to call it. And there is a clock, the general, then there's the night vision and stealth field. These could be separately done. The clock, I'm going to leave always on. General, this is the stats that go along the right hand side. I'm going to have this as toggle on the right mouse button. And for the night vision and stealth field, I will leave off for now. So if I press to toggle, you'll notice now my clock is always on. Even though I've toggled the heads-up display off, my clock is always on. So if you like the clock and you always want it on, there you go. If I press the right mouse button to zoom, you'll now see I can see not just my compass, but I can also see my hunger, my thirst, and my sleep from the Darnified UI. So as you can see, you basically have complete control over the heads-up display now. Not only can you move it around where you like, make it a lot smaller, you can have it disappear so that when you don't need it, like now, you just have a far more cinematic experience with a lot less clutter on screen. Now, one last mod I'm going to mention, but not install in this video, is the Unified HUD project. Yet another mod by myself. And this mod basically is it's a supporting mod, a tool that allows multiple heads-up display altering mods to function together. So Fallout Wanderers Edition, the Advanced Recon series, etc. Lots of mods that add things to the heads-up display that usually require you to do a lot of manual editing. This mod is designed to make it completely simple. This mod also fixes problems you have with your HUD. When you run it, it basically cleans up the heads-up display, reinstalls it anew. So this is going to be a very useful tool, and I'm telling you about it now, just in case you're rushing ahead and installing other mods. You may want to check this one out. I am going to cover this in detail because in one of my later videos I will be installing some mods that add new things to the heads-up display, and we will need to see how to deal with that. And that's it for this video. We've now got a much sleeker and much more immersive heads-up display and a much better user interface in general to use. In the next video, I'm going to be covering the game's lighting and weather system, and I'm going to be trying to remove that green tint that everything has, so the game looks a lot nicer and actually feels a little bit more realistic. So I hope you can join me for that video. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please click the like button. I always appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, have fun.
No other will do.